Okay, so let's create our second call-up scene here. I'm going to right-click in my database window and I'm going to say create new scene. We're going to call this B for our state B. Let's keep it simple. Let's double-click on it. It opens the scene. It tells you down here that the scene is open. It tells you the name right down there. First thing I want to do is go ahead and grab my snapshot. So we have this snapshot, and I also have my original concept snapshot, which I could use as well to let me know how big the text needs to be. So I'm just going to use my original snapshot there, the one that we created from our master scene. I'm going to go ahead and drag a group down. I'm then going to go into my fonts and grab a font. And let's say we just want to make this one this text here. And let's say this is going to be the big text. So I'm just going to type in big text here. We want to reposition this to where we want it. And again, remember the Z position is going to be very important. So I want to increase this 2 points. From here, it's all about design. So I may want to make this big text stand out a little bit more. And I have an image here that I can drop on it. Let's go into the image editor and just change it to reflection. I also want to drop and extrude on it, so I'll go into my globals folder and find the extrude plugin and maybe just extrude this just a tiny bit. 10 might be a little bit too much. We can change the bevel angle here, something like that. If you want to do the whole max size thing again, we can drag this down on it and we can come into our text and type in here and see where we're at. I don't want it to go past that line, so I'm just going to start decreasing my max size by taking down the max width. And once it hits this like little area right here, I know I'm good to go at 609. Let's say call it 610. It's not going to go past that. I'm going to delete the rest of this extra text and save it as that. If you want to increase the size, again, since this max size takes over the scaling in our transformation, you can just increase the size this way by clicking on these individual parameters. If you hold down Control, you can go in smaller increments. If you hold down Shift, you can go in larger increments. Next, we need to kind of set up the functionality of this. So I'm going to go into the control. I'm going to drag my control text onto here. Again, if we want to rename this, we can call this big text if we want. We can call this group up here B. Again, naming conventions are up to you. Let's go into our control text right here. Field identifier, I'm going to leave as 1. Description, you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to say big text. Maximal characters, I'm not going to worry about it. In fact, I'm not going to change any of these settings on here. I'm just going to leave it as is. When we added this control text, it automatically added this control object. I'm going to click on the control object to go into the editor. We can give it a description so we know what it is. We're going to turn on the transition logic button. And here is where we can see the layer identifier. Layer identifier, again, is the director, which was L3. Case sensitive, so I need a capital L. The state identifier was which state or stop point this is. This is stop point B, and the background scene is called master. Before we close out, let's turn off this background image. We can drag that to the trash if you want. You're done. Now, if you want to clearly identify your call-up scenes from the master, you can also change the background. So, for instance, let's just make each background of the call-up scenes red. That way, it will give us a quick visual identification in Vizrt of which scenes are call-up scenes, which scenes are background or master scenes. Now that this is set, I'm going to go ahead and hit save.